Welcome back to Coins and Cash with Brittany if you are a returning viewer, and welcome if it is your first time here. My name is Brittany and I like to go over collectible coins, paper money, and bullion. And in today's video, I will be going over 10 different $5 bills that I think you should be aware of. Up first, we have a 2009 Federal Reserve note from Atlanta, graded by PMG, a 66 EPQ. EPQ stands for Exceptional Paper Quality and is given to notes that are 100% original and have never been altered to give the appearance of a higher grade. And if we take a close look at the serial number, it is a near solid serial number 5. This is one number away, and collectors will pay a premium for fancy serial numbers, near fancy serial numbers, and in general, just serial numbers that look cool to them. So due to the high grade and the serial number, this note sold for $169 on February 21st of this year. Our second note of the day is a 2003A Federal Reserve note from New York, graded by PMG, a 67 EPQ. This note is 3 points away from being a perfectly printed and cut note. And taking a look at this serial number, we have a fancy repeater serial number. A repeater serial number means that the first half of the serial number repeats exactly the same in the second half. So we have the 2227, 2227. And due to this high grade and the fancy serial number, this note sold for $240 on August 15th of this year. Our third note of the day is a 1953B silver certificate graded by PMG, a very fine 25. And just like our Federal Reserve notes, we have a star in the serial number. However, this star is in the beginning of the serial number, or the prefix. And the reason for this is because silver certificates were not printed based on district. These were backed by silver. So anytime you see a star in front of the serial number for a small size silver certificate, that is how you're going to determine if it is a replacement note or not. And this particular series for replacement notes is quite rare, considering that there were over 3 million of these bills printed and somehow fewer than 400,000 went into circulation. And if this note was in higher condition, it would have sold for significantly more. However, still being in the lower condition, this note sold for $432 on July 11th of this year. Our fourth note of the day is the 1934B Federal Reserve note from New York, graded by PMG, a 64 EPQ. Now this is a slightly older bill, and taking a look at it, you wouldn't really think there's anything too special about it, but taking a look at the plate position, we're going to see that it is a number 212. And what's key about this is that when the 212 front plate number was engraved for the New York district, it wasn't engraved in the correct size. It was smaller than the standard macro size of 1.0 millimeters in height. However, it was also larger than the old micro size of 0.6 millimeters. And this is very important information because this error has only occurred in the New York district. And even if you have this note in lower condition, it's still going to bring a premium because of the rarity. And for this reason, this note sold for $552 on February 28th of this year. Halfway through our notes, we have a 1928B Federal Reserve note from St. Louis, graded by PMG, a 65 EPQ. And a cool thing, in my opinion at least, about this note is the clause above the district seal. It reads as follows: redeemable in gold on demand at the United States Treasury, or in gold or lawful money at any Federal Reserve bank. So back in the day, you could actually exchange this for equivalent in gold, so a $5 gold piece. Or if you were getting change, you could get the difference back in gold. So if you spent $2, you could get $3 in gold. And this note as well is a light green seal. In some of my previous videos, I mentioned that you can take a look at the serial number and pretty often tell based on the color whether it is a light green or dark green seal. Sometimes you do have to take a look at the serial number range to ensure you have the right variety. And light green seals are always going to bring a higher premium than dark green seals because they are much more rare rare. And this note is a well-margined and boldly printed light green seal from St. Louis and is tied for the finest graded by PMG. Now, Heritage sold an identically graded piece in their Central States auction for $1,560. However, someone got this at a great price of $870 on August 15th of this year. Our sixth note of the day is a Federal Reserve note from Chicago, graded by PMG A64, choice uncirculated. Now, this particular note does not have the EPQ designation, and the 64 grade is the first grade that you can and cannot have EPQ. Any note that is graded 65 and higher will automatically receive the EPQ designation. And taking a look at our note, we have a doubled print error, specifically the second print doubled. And the doubled print error occurs when a portion of the note is printed twice. A very good indicator whether you have a double print or not is if it looks blurry because it is struck by the intaglio plate more than once. This can happen to the first print, which is actually the reverse of the note, the second print, which is the front of the note and includes the portrait and the border, or the third print, which is the serial number and seals. And for this type of error, the separation between the two prints is key to the value, and the more severe the error is, the higher the premium will bring for your note. And for this reason, this note sold for $1,200 on May 5th of this year. Moving right along, we have a 1934 Federal Reserve note from St. Louis. This is graded by PCGS Currency, a choice new 63 PPQ. PPQ stands for premium paper quality and is equivalent to EPQ. And so we have a couple of things that are going on for this note. We have the light green seal variety, in addition to it being a low serial number. Now, to my knowledge, the grading companies will notate serial number 1 through 9. I don't believe they do 10 and higher. So we've got a really low serial number. This is serial number 14. And the other thing that is going for this note is it actually was part of a very famous collection, the Eric P. Newman collection. The reason why this specific collection is so important to the collectibles community is because Mr. Newman was a renowned American numismatist. His collection had some of the greatest rarities in all numismatics, including a 1792 Washington President pattern gold eagle. That coin alone brought an auction $1.74 million in 2018. So Mr. Newman was truly one of a kind in our industry. And this is why any note or coin with his collection pedigree on it will bring a higher premium. So we have the light green seal, the low serial number 14, and we have the Eric P. Newman collection pedigree on the label. In addition to having the high grade of 63 PPQ, all those combined is the reason why this note brought $1,380 on January 13th of this year. Our third to last note of the day is a 1963A Federal Reserve note from Dallas, graded by PMG A64 EPQ. And if we take a look at the front of the bill, we have what is known as an ascending ladder serial number. This type of serial number will always be associated with the specimen notes, in addition to having the red specimen printed to the left and right of Abraham Lincoln. And on the reverse, we also have the specimen printing to the left and right of the Lincoln Memorial. And what's truly special about a specimen note is that it is a sample note usually distributed to banks, treasuries, and law enforcement agencies to familiarize them with newly issued currency, and is never intended to be used as actual currency. So this basically means that we are aiding other countries who accept U.S. currency as a form of legal tender to be able to recognize whether they have have a genuine, altered, or counterfeit note. So you truly do not see these very often. And when they come to auction, they do bring a premium. And for this reason, this note sold for $1,740 on January 13th of this year. Our second to last note of the day is a 1934C silver certificate graded by PMG A63 EPQ. And as I mentioned earlier, for silver certificates, the replacement notes are recognized by having the star and the prefix of the serial number. In addition to it being a replacement note, this is also a narrow variety, and the faceplate number 2031. I'm going to pop on the screen to show you the difference between wide and narrow. And narrow faceplates were introduced in August of 1948. The plate numbers to easily identify them are 2028, 2029, 2030, and 2031. PMG has graded only 11 in total, including this note, and is one of the highest graded examples at 63 EPQ. So we have the replacement note. It is the narrow variety and has the faceplate of 2031, and this is the trifecta, which is why this note sold for $12,000 on January 13th of this year. Our last note of the day is a 1934D Federal Reserve note from Kansas City, graded by PMG A65 EPQ. And taking a look at the front of the note, we have a $5 printing. However, when we flip it around to the back, we have a $10 printing, and this is known as the dual denomination or double denomination. So to give you an idea of how this error happened, you must know how the printing process works. The backs of the notes are printed first and then are to be set aside to dry, and then after it's completed drying goes in for the second print. So this note was intended to be a $10 bill. However, it missed going to the $10 press and went to the $5 press for the second print, and that's essentially how this happened. It completely missed the quality control at the BEP, and technically you have $15 face value, but you wouldn't want to spend the $15 because this note brought $38,400 on January 13th of this year. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It would mean the world to me if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.